Hi there, I'm Coach Craig Kenneth, and today's video I'm going to be talking about she doesn't feel anything for me. So, one of the things that women always say to men when they're breaking up with them is, I don't feel anything for you anymore. So, I'm going to be talking about that in this video and explain a little bit about why that's going on. I want to get right into an email that I got from Barry, who said, "Hey Coach, I'm really confused about how to handle a situation with my ex-girlfriend. We broke up last month after almost 3 years. She broke up with me. She said she didn't feel anything for me anymore. I really love this girl and I still think about her all the time. Meanwhile, she didn't seem that upset. She didn't cry. She was kind of matter-of-fact about it. It seemed like I meant nothing to her. It really hurt because it was like the girl that I loved for so long was gone and she was just a shell of a person." Yeah, so this happens a lot, guys. Let me explain. When a woman isn't feeling something for you in that moment, they can appear cold and heartless, right? And it makes it even worse, right? Because it's like, damn, can't you show some emotion for me? Like you love me as a person or anything? And I gotta tell you, this happened with me. There was one girl that broke up with me, and the best way that I could explain it to you guys would to be like, if you could imagine that her love for me flowed like water from a sink. Well, she turned that faucet off and not another drip came out. It was brutal. And that was one of the biggest things for me in my life that made me really want to understand relationships. It was from that breakup that really made me work tremendously hard on figuring everything out. And that was, geez, probably like, I guess about 5 years ago now. And you know, everything happens for a reason, but I really took that breakup and was hell-bent on figuring out relationships from that. So, as painful as it was, it led me to where I'm at right now, and I love what I do, so worked out great. Now, let me talk about what I think is going on with somebody like this. I really think that this person and their complete lack of emotions to you during this breakup makes me really think that she probably has an avoidant attachment style. So if a woman has an avoidant attachment style, and by the way, this is just as equal for men. It doesn't have to do with men or women. This has to do with how our caregivers and our parents raised us in our first 2 years of life. So don't think it has anything to do with gender. I'm just specifically, making this about guys, helping you to understand this. But ladies, it works the same way for a guy that's able to do this too, okay? So I just want to put that out there. So, someone that has an avoidant attachment style is going to be a lot more likely to cut off all attachment, no feelings, like nothing. Because they don't trust people, okay? They never really got attached to you to begin with. It's like, you have to imagine if they don't have a strong bond to you, then of course it's going to be easy to break it off. And that's what happens with people that have an avoidant attachment style. They don't have a strong bond. By the way, the ex that I'm talking about, she had an avoidant attachment style as well. So, if you don't know about attachment styles, it is crucial to understanding both yourself and your partner and what's going on, these dynamics going on in the relationship. So watch my videos on them. You're going to love them. They're going to be so fascinating to you. So, let me continue with the email. Actually, before I continue with what Barry had to say, I wanted to make a couple points about Barry. I think Barry probably has an anxious attachment style, and probably his behavior was clingy, controlling, and needy to her, so that's why she was turned off, because he was constantly fearful that she was going to leave him. And rightfully so, because she wasn't that attached, and he can sense that. So when he senses that, he just wants to cling even more. And this happens with everybody in their relationships. He's constantly worried that she's going to abandon him. He clings harder. Then she's feeling trapped. She pushes away even more. It's a vicious, endless cycle. Because she doesn't like closeness. And a big part of the reason she broke up with you is because you were doing things that made her feel smothered, so she wanted her freedom. You came on too strong. She was like, ah. So, that's why being aware of your attachment style, if you have an anxious attachment style, you realize when your girlfriend or wife does something that makes you feel insecure, they're doing something that makes you think they're going to leave, you are able to soothe yourself by talking to yourself and saying, okay, I have an anxious attachment style. I typically might be more sensitive to somebody when they need a little distance and space. Because those people need just some distance and some space, and when you give it to them, they feel more comfortable. Okay? That's why it's important to understand this stuff. Let me get back to the email. So Barry said, I know there are different things you look for in someone's history to figure things out. So to give you an idea about her life, her father left and abandoned her and the family when she was about 1.5 years old. Very difficult time for a parent to leave. When he left, her mother was depressed and she had to go live with her grandparents for a few years. She never really wanted to talk about it, but her sister, who was 3 years older, did. So, this poor girl has no sense of safety when it comes to love. I mean, love doesn't make her feel protected and safe. It's dangerous and disappointing. Love to her would be like how you feel when you're going to the dentist. You know that uncomfortable, unpleasant feeling that you have to go to the dentist? That's kind of like what love feels like to her. It's scary. It's disappointing. It's painful. So, Barry said, is it possible she doesn't really care about me? That she doesn't feel anything for me? Unfortunately, yes. Her introduction to the world was not good. She doesn't trust people. I have 2 very close friends that have an avoidant attachment style, both women. And you should hear the stuff that they'll tell me about breakups. They're just so devoid of feelings that really doesn't affect them that much. It's painful. It's painful to think how much you love somebody and they're equally disinterested as you are interested. So, this girl in this email, she was probably neglected by her mother because her mom was depressed. And then she went to live with her grandparents and they probably did a better job. Now, the sister had a better first 2 years of life because the dad was still in the picture. She had 2 parents that were probably more engaged. The mom wasn't going through a depression. So she's probably healthier and more well-adjusted. And that's why sometimes you can have one sibling that is so much higher functioning than another, because another sibling had a depressed mom with a postpartum. Now they had more kids to take care of. Maybe the dad left and abandoned the family by that point. So there's a lot of different factors. That's why you can sometimes be looking at a family like, I don't get it. Her sister's great. Her brother's good. And she's a mess. I speak from personal experience on these as well. So Barry says, I still love her. What can I do to get her back? Well, Barry, the thing that causes to get a person's interest in you is your absence. And the fastest way to get someone's attention is to remove yours. When someone breaks up with you and you want to get them back, you have to remove them as much from their life as humanly possible. If you have kids, sometimes you have to communicate, but make it bare essentials. Do not do any extra communicating with them, especially if you're trying to do it to get their attention, because women will see right through that nonsense. If I was you, I would never text or call this girl again. Start dating other people. The minute she sees that you don't care, her interest level is going to skyrocket. Now, she probably isn't going to tell you, but it will. And that's just something that happens with women. It's like they sense this disturbance in the force, where the minute you're not interested anymore, they're like, wait a minute. And they're going to start to wonder about you, think about you. Might take them a while to get back with you and on you, do that indirect, direct message that I talk about. Hey, did you ever find my left shoe? And you're like, what? But it's really because it ain't about the shoe. It's because they want to talk to you. So, a woman needs to know that if she leaves you, you are moving on with your life and you're never looking back. It's essential. If she's attached, she'll get separation anxiety and she'll find a reason to contact you. Separation anxiety is critical, and you can't be lingering around at all for this girl. You have to cut ties, move on, start dating other women. That is the way to get her back, ironically, if you want her back, because you might find another girl that's 10 times better, really, and has a secure attachment style and is going to be a lot more able to be there for you and meet your needs in the relationship, right? So, if you like what I'm talking about, make sure you put a like on the video. Subscribe if you want. I add content 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. And if you want to get my help personally, you could go to my website, askcraig.net, sign up for the coaching option that works best for you. I'm happy to help you guys with whatever situation that's going on in your relationship, dating life, whatever it is that you're needing some assistance with. Let me know what's going on. I want to hear what's going on with you. Tell me your story so I can help. So that's it for this video. I'm Craig Kenneth, and I will talk with you soon.